And two people here today told me, Greg Nichol there and another gentleman, separately told me about a game they've got. What was it you called it?
Stone's Throw, the Darwinian game.
The Darwinian game, where you measure distances with this way and the distance from here to there. So if you're a big guy, you choose to move further, which is fitting because big guys would move further. Anything else?
Sir? Mr. Featherstone?
Yes.
Were you a tanker? I heard you mention something. I don't really know too much about you personally. Were you a tanker in the war?
Sorry, I must come up and
He asked you
Were you in tanks?
He asked if you were a tanker in North Africa.
Were you in tanks?
Yes, I was in tanks. I was in 51st Royal Tank Regiment, 25th Tank Brigade. And there's in the hall there, the Traders' Hall, there's a book, an Osprey book on the Churchill tank, and I was showing it to Jim yesterday. There's pictures of tanks of my regiment. There's our regimental markings, and there's two stories of guys by name talking about the actions they fought in. I was really proud when I saw that. And also there's a picture and there's a book down there by Fletcher, the librarian at the Tank Museum, on the Tiger tank. And it's got pictures of a Tiger tank, the first Tiger tank captured. I was there when it happened. I didn't do it. It was in North Africa. It was a very misty morning. And we were all huddled down there all along. And we heard this terrible rattling and clanking in front. Everybody opened up with everything. Boom, 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 like you see. And when the mist lifted, about 300, 400 yards out in front, there was this bloody great tank. We'd never seen anything like it in our lives. We'd never seen pictures. We didn't even know it existed. This great Tiger tank. And the track was off and the crew had abandoned it and left it there. And I got a photograph at home, I don't know how I got it, of this tank being winched up on a tank transporter. And there's pictures of it in this book there. I mean, that's another thing. I'm always digressing, but you might be interested in this. You could put it in some rules somehow. When we were in North Africa, we got there just about the time of the Kasserine Gap disaster. We were outside Le Kef. We moved up to Le Kef, and I was Lance Corporal, and I had 4 other guys, and we had Smith & Wesson pistols, with 6 rounds of ammunition, and we were in slit trenches, 1 to each trench, put their special hold up the advancing German army. You could have it, Rommel didn't come. But about 4 or 5 days later, we had a guy in our regiment called Stan McAuliffe, who was a very dashing guy. He was a motorcycle speedway rider before the war. He went out in a jeep, looked around. Now the way we got that jeep too, we were down at Naples. We were down at Algiers when we landed, and we didn't have anything very much transport, nothing very good anyway. And some of our officers came driving at the camp in this jeep. So I said, "Where did you get that from?" They said, "Well, the Americans were unloading them down at the dock, so we gave them a case of whiskey for it." So anyway, Stan McAuliffe goes out in this jeep, you see, and he comes back and he said, "Up in the Kasserine Gap, there are literally well over 100 abandoned Sherman tanks. So they've all got 75mm guns in. Now we had a 40-ton Churchill tank with a 2-pounder gun in, 37mm, 2-pounder gun, useless. So he said, I want every vehicle, every truck in the regiment. So got them all, up we went, we took all these guns, these 75mm out of the Shermans, and we brought them back, and the brigade workshops, we fitted them all in the Churchill turrets. The only trouble was we couldn't get them in properly, so we had to put them in upside down. So you had to load upside down. So after we'd got all our tanks equipped with these beautiful 75mm guns, somebody made a pertinent remark. They said, "But we haven't got any ammunition for them." So Stan McAuliffe, resourceful to the last, goes out and finds an American unit and asks if he can indent on them for ammunition. So for the rest of the war, we indented on your army for our ammunition for your guns. Yeah.
Can we now boast that we've met the guy who was there but didn't participate in that
I'll give you a lot of things to say like that. Yes, Sam.
When are you going to write your own World War II experiences here?
Who'd buy them? I got a lovely title though. In the tank regiment, you're a black berry. When you get that berry issue, it's all floppy, you know, with ribbons hanging at the back. So what you do, you put it on an enamel plate, and you put it on a radiator or by a fire in the sun so that it shrinks. And then you take it off this plate and you drag it down on your head like that, and you get one of your mates to fix this bow at the back, and he does the ribbons and he stitches it up, puts it about. And you've got this very tight little berry, you see, and it may be different now because I go back a long time. If you're a radio operator, you had it right back so that your berry pulled back so you can have your earphones on. If you're a driver, you tend to have it forward to shield your eyes, you see. And you can often tell by looking at a guy walking around whether he was an radio operator, driver, or whatever, you see. Well, in the British Army, every now and then you get inspected by the king or something like that. And these people used to come, and they used to dress them up like tank generals. And they used to give them one of these berries, not one of our berries, one of these other berries, you see. It was all floppy and loose. And I've stood there many times, and I've seen the king and various members of the royal family, and they're coming along the line. And they've got this awful berry all flopping over, looking like Van Gogh or something. Ribbons hanging down the back. And there's always a guy when you stand there like that, just as I get about there, there's always a voice who says behind you, if you can't fight, wear a big hat. To laugh. So I had this idea, if ever I write my memoirs, I'm going to call them, If You Can't Fight, Wear a Big Hat, or The Triumph of Shouting Over Talent. God, I've enjoyed this. Okay.